Figma website tutorial. Build a free website from Figma from scratch. Website design tutorial. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you all are doing great and are having an amazing and incredible day. In this video, we'll be walking through the process of building a complete website from scratch using Figma web design. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So before we get started, let me show you the website. So basically, this is what we'll be creating today. As you can see, it's a pretty sleek and modern design that incorporates various elements such as hero section, navigation, content section, background effect, footer, and even a form. So yeah, before we dive into designing the website, let's take a quick look at the Figma interface. So to obviously see the interface, what we're going to do is we're obviously going to head straight into their sign-up process. So once we're here, we're going to click on Get Started, okay? Now, once you click on Get Started, obviously it's going to give you all these prompts to create an account. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a temp mail for my sign-up process, but what I want you to do is use a proper email, okay? If you're like doing this for the long run, because let's say you use a temp mail and then you lose this email and you create a pretty good website that you don't want to lose track of, then it's just gonna be pretty bad. So there you go, and now I'm just gonna put a password and I'm gonna click on create account. Now once you click on create account, from there on out you have to like complete the sign up process, and once you have done that, we're just gonna agree, and here we are. Now we're just gonna sign ourselves in, and once you are signed up, it's all dandy from there. So here we are. Now they're going to say, welcome to Figma, you know, tell your team name or stuff. And they're also going to tell you a plan. So choose a plan for your team. Now, first of all, there's the starter plan, which is totally free. Okay. 3 design files, 3 FigJam files, 1 project, and a 30-day version history. You can like start for free right now and stuff like that. It's totally dependent on you. And then there's obviously the professional trial with the unlimited files, unlimited projects, $12 per month. And it's a $3 per month per FigJam editor. So once you've obviously selected our trial, here it says, what would you like to do first? We can help you get started faster. Design with Figma or whiteboard and FigJam. Now, you can like directly get into these, but I'm going to click on I'll get started on my own. So now that we're here, let's go ahead and discuss the interface. Okay, so this is the Figma interface. So before we dive into the main essentials, which is designing the website, let's take a quick look at all of this. Okay, so here you can see the different like options we have, like new design file, new FigJam file. FigJam is basically your whiteboard and diagrams that you can create for maybe students or stuff like that. But obviously we're gonna go to the design file because that's what we're here for. So we're gonna click on the plus sign, and here we are. So basically, once you're here you can see the different panels and tools you have. So basically these are all the different panels that they give you, and then obviously these are all the tools. Like as you can see, you can use this to create different design widgets. This is different shapes. You have different pens and pencils that you want to mess around with, and trust me, we're going to be using all of these throughout the tutorial. And don't worry if it looks overwhelming at first. We'll be taking it step by step. Like I can tell there's a lot to take in right now, but don't worry, it's going to be pretty easy. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to name your project. So I'm going to call this first design. Okay. Now, once I've called it that, what you're going to do is you're going to obviously head on to the tools. Now, first of all, again, this is the, your general tool where you can, save the files. Here you can undo, redo if you want to. This is different views. Over here you have different object and components. You have different text options over here, different arrangement options. You can like align to the left, align to the right, top, bottom, whatever you want. Then you have different vector selections. And then you can also run plugins into your Figma website if you want to. You have more widgets, more preferences to use, and much more. So that's obviously your main thing. This is your cursor. You can either use, the moving cursor, or you can also use the scale cursor. So you can like just use it to scale your, design bigger or smaller, totally upon you. Then obviously this is the frame section. You can basically create different frames. So let's say this is a frame we created for the iPhone 14. And again, if I were to go in frame, you have all these framing options. So this is an iPhone 14 frame. Let's say you want to make a website for a desktop. So we're going to choose desktop, and here you go. Here you can see it created a frame for us in the desktop form. So you get the point. And then you have different sections. Like this is to create a specific section in a website if you want to. Again, totally upon you. Here's a slice. You can like cut a slice out of a website. Again, that's like a cropping function in a way. These are your, different shapes. And trust me, I'm going to be showing you how we're going to use them. It's going to be a pretty fun thing to use. And this is the pen. You can basically create different designs by connecting this in various shapes if you want to. So let's say I'm going to mess around with this, create a star. Like you get the point. So yeah, you can have fun with it. You can mess around with it all you want. Then obviously this is your text. Create a text box, write whatever text you want. You can mess around with the font. This is obviously like to move your page around. Okay, that's pretty basic stuff. And this is to obviously add, you could say comments for yourself or for someone else who's coming to your website. So yeah, and then obviously on the right hand side, you're gonna have options for all the tools that you open basically. So you get the point. It's pretty basic and easy stuff. So yeah, that's the basic interface overview. Now, let's go ahead and discuss the page and grid setup. So the first thing that we need to do is set up our page and grid. So we'll be using a frame to organize our design and make it easier to work with. So this is how to create a frame on your screen. Again, you're going to come here, okay? Go on frames, choose the size of the frame you want. Okay, I'm going to go with desktop. Now, once you've gone with this, as you can see, I've created a frame for a desktop. Okay, now once we've done that, now we're also going to be setting up a grid to help us align our elements and maintain consistency throughout our design. So to basically get a grid on screen, what you're going to do is, again, you're going to go here. And once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go in view. I'm going to click on layout grids. And once you add layout grids and add different designs, what it's going to do for you is it's going to add different grids if you ask it to give it to you. So again, what you're going to do for a frame, click on frames, go on frame, and then choose the frame design you want. And what you're going to do for grids, again, go over here, go on view. You have like different amounts of grids. You can use the pixel grid, layout grid, you have rulers, and like tons and tons of other stuff. So you can also like put up rulers and create grids for yourself, as you can see. Just create grids like this for yourself. Pretty basic and easy stuff. And this can also be used to like measure the size of an object. So let's say I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to bring one more over here. So as you can see, you can create, it's pretty uneven right now, but you get the point. So that is how you can set up a grid on your screen. Pretty easy stuff. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get started by designing our hero section and navigation. So this is the first thing your visitors will see when they land on your website. So it's pretty important to make it eye-catching and easy to navigate. So this is how we're going to basically design our hero and navigation. Your hero and navigation is going to be the topmost part of your website. Like if I were to give an example of, a famous website like Nike, I'm going to show you their hero and navigation. So, from here till here, this is the hero navigation. Why do you call it the hero navigation? Hero is like, with all these logos, favicon stuff. Their navigation is like, something which you click on and get navigated to another part of the page, or, another, let's say, like change the different features of the page. So you get the point. Those are your hero navigations, and that is what we're going to be creating right now. So to create a hero navigation, first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to create a section for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Let's create this much should be fine. Okay. Now, once we've created a section for that, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to add our favicon or our logo in the top. So to add our favicon or a logo, what could we do? We could obviously choose a logo. Now I'm going to be choosing a logo off of pexels.com, just a random logo. It doesn't really matter. I'll go with logo. Okay. Once I write logo, I'm going to choose a logo which I can like, remove the background for and just make it look much better. Let's go with this, just a random logo, and you get the point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to remove.bg to obviously remove the background of this logo. I want to clear cut PNG, obviously. And once I've gone here, I'm going to upload the image that I just downloaded. And once you do that, here you go. Here you have your clear cut PNG just downloaded. Pretty basic stuff. And once you're over here, what you're going to do is you're going to go to these rectangles. You're going to open it. You're going to go in place image or video. And then you're just going to choose the PNG that you added. And there you go. You're going to add it there. And make sure to like set the size and everything. So I'm going to set it. I'm going to bring it here. There we go. If it like cut some part out, make sure to bring it in. We want the whole thing. Once you put that, there you go. So that is how you're going to add the logo. Now for some people, the rulers or some things might get a bit distracting. Like for me, they are. So you can, again, just remove them out. So I'm going to remove the rulers out and then continue making our hero and navigation. So now that we have our favicon or our logo, you know what? I'm going to make it a bit more smaller. There we go. Just bring it down here. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is obviously, you can also like change the color of the background if you want to. So you're going to choose the section background. So I'm going to choose the section. You're going to go on the right side over here, and here it's going to say fill. So you're going to click on the color and then choose whatever color is going to match best with your logo. So I'm going to go with a light blue, or you know what, let's go with a green because there's no green in the color. And yeah, that should be good. Now let's make a navigation for ourselves, a navigation menu. Okay, now how do you make a navigation menu? Obviously we're going to use text files. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up just like this. Okay, and once you've opened it up like this, what you can do is obviously, first of all, you're going to text align it from the left side. And once you align it from the left side, make sure it's in somewhere in the middle, not like this. There we go. And now we're going to write, like, obviously you have your home, and then you're going to give it some space. Then you have, maybe let's say you have your product page. And then after that, your product page, you can add your about page. And once you have your about page, let's add our contact page. Okay. So you get the point. These are the main essentials that are going to be in your main favicon. So I'm going to choose the mouse icon now, and I'm going to drag it over here. Now obviously this looks a bit shabby, doesn't look the greatest. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring it here. What we're going to do is you're obviously going to choose the text. Once you choose the text, you're going to come here and you can increase the font if you want to. Okay, now I'm going to tune it down to a 15. I'm going to bring it here. There we go. Now what we can do to mess around with this is obviously you can make it bold. Obviously looks much better now. You can also change the color of the fill. Like you can make it white, but in my opinion, I think black looks best. And yeah, there you go. So that is how you're going to make your hero and navigation system as well. So yeah, as I said, this is the first thing your visitors will see when they land on your website. So you have to make sure that it looks pretty good. So once we have created our hero navigation, let's create the background effect. So next, we'll add a background effect to give our design some depth and texture. So we'll be using masks and blend modes to achieve this effect. So to create a background effect, what you're going to do is obviously you're going to first choose your background. So once you've chosen your design, make sure to add a section for the background. You're going to go here, click on section, choose the section, and from there on out expand it. So this is going to be your background section. Now here, obviously, we're going to first of all give it a solid color in the back. So for a solid color, what you're going to do is, okay, let's go with, because obviously up there it's a green, so let's say what color works well with light green. Make sure to research all of this before using something. So let's go with a violet. Okay, let's go with a good violet color. A violet color should be somewhat over here. Yeah, I think I'll go with the lighter shade of that. And yeah, I think that looks good. Looks pretty decent. Make sure to fill out the white edges. There we go. So now once you have done that, what we're going to do is we're going to add, some effects in it. Now, To add some effects, what you can do is you can like choose the components out of the library if you want to, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have some more fun. Now, first of all, we're gonna go on rectangle. And once you go on rectangle, I'm gonna like stretch out a rectangle like this. And once you stretch that out, we're gonna go on fill. We're gonna go on full white. We're gonna like make it fully white. And once we've done that, what we're gonna do is you can first of all go on stroke, give it like a good, nice, I'm gonna make it a bit bolder. So let's change it from that to this. And once we give it a good, side stroke, we're gonna go on drop shadow, and then you're gonna increase the amount of drop shadow that you're gonna have. And so you're gonna add that. You're gonna add this stuff. Make sure the drop shadow is somewhere over here. And once you've done that, you can also like add a layer blur. So to add the layer blur, just do that. Just make it as blur as you can to like, make it look a bit shiny, if that makes sense. So as you can see, you can like add this as a widget somewhere down here in your page or somewhere over here in your page. You can make it smaller, okay? So like it doesn't get too overpowering or it doesn't go too much out of your picture. And then what you can do is you can basically mess around with the opacity as well. So let's say I'm gonna like turn the opacity down to a 40%, or you know what, let's make it a 60. And once you have done that, make sure to like mess around with the radius. If you want a proper rectangle, you can go with a proper rectangle. There we go. And that is basically, you're gonna have, the flare effect in the background, and you can also like use masks if you want to. So let's say I'm gonna like use this mask like this mask like this, and you get the point. So once you've done that, you're gonna come here. And once you have, created this vector mask, again, you can like fill it in with a color, or let's say I'm gonna go with a bit of a light blue. This is pretty random. This is just so I can like give you an example of how it's gonna look. So I'm gonna go on soft light, or you can just go on pass through. And once you do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this down to a 50 as well, and I'm gonna go on effects. And once I'm gone on effects, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change it from that to a background blur, and I'm gonna change the intensity of the blur. So make sure it's a good, decent blur. And once you've messed around with, the blur, make sure to click on done. And once you click on done, again, go on background blur, increase the intensity of the blur if you want to, give it some nice funky design in the top. And then also make sure that the opacity goes down. I'm gonna make it down to go to a 20. Wait, let's take it to a 20. There we are. And then like you can keep it down here if you want to, keep it up there if you want to. But yeah, that is basically how you're gonna add a bit of a flare or a decent effect to your website or your background. So once you've added a background effect to like give it some good depth and texture, and use your blended modes and stuff like that, we're gonna build the content section. So with the hero and the navigation complete, it's time to move on to the next section. This is where you'll showcase your products or services. So it's pretty important to make it informative and engaging. I'm going to be using various elements such as text, images, and icons to create this content section. So let's get straight into it. So first of all, what you're going to want to do is obviously, again, we're going to choose what product we want to sell. So like, let's say you have the product in mind, okay? So let's say we have like a mobile phone. I'm going to go with the iPhone. I'm going to write iPhone over here. Now, once we have written iPhone, make sure to get a good like image where you can remove the background. So I'm going to go with, let's go with this picture. This picture has like, that background in the back, so we can remove it. So I'm just going to wait for it to be downloaded. And once this picture downloads, what I'm going to do is again, go to remove.bg. Once you go and remove BG, take this picture, drag it into the upload image section. And once you've uploaded the image, you're just going to go and remove background. And there you go. You have the remove background for your iPhone now. So what you're going to do again is going to go in your shapes, go and place image and video, and place this image somewhere over here. So make sure not to place it in this section. Place it over here into the desktop section basically. Or you can create a new section in the desktop section. So I'm gonna make sure to first of all have a good new section for, my favicon, and here we go. We're gonna add that. Now once we've added that, make sure that it's transparent. So we're gonna go with normal, and I'm gonna like make sure to I'm gonna increase its size, bring it down here. And once I've done that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that it's like unseeable, just so that it doesn't have this rectangle thing inside it. Be sure to go bring the rectangle up into the section 2. Just do a bit messing around with the settings, because sometimes the settings can be a bit tricky. Make sure to like create the section 3 in the desktop section, not in like under the second section, because that obviously will make things a bit tricky for you. And make sure to have this down here. Again, go on section. You're going to create a section for yourself as so. Okay, now we're going to go and we're going to drop this over here. Okay, and once we have this dropped, we're going to do some product placement. Okay, some pretty good, decent product placement. So obviously, as we know, this is let's call it the iPhone 7 for now. Okay, we're gonna bring this rectangle down, this section of ours, we're gonna bring it a bit down to, give our design a good effect. Bring this over here, make the size a bit bigger, tad bit bigger, and we're just gonna put it here. And as you can see, it looks pretty decent, pretty good design. Now what you're gonna do is you can change the background color. So I'm gonna go on fill. Okay, you can choose whatever color you think looks best. So I'm gonna go with, let's go to a blue. Once we go to a blue, I'm gonna choose this color, and then you're gonna start adding your text. So obviously we've just added an image for our product. Now let's go ahead and add our text. So here we go. We're gonna create a text box like this, as so. And now we can write brand new product, just hit the store. So we're gonna write that. Make sure that you have a good font. Okay, now to choose the font, what you can do is you're gonna go here. Now obviously we can see it's an Inter font. So what you can do is you can like mess around with all the different fonts that you have. So make sure you can also go and check good e-commerce website fonts. You can like write this, and once you write this, well, you can see Lotto or Monsterrat. So I'm gonna like see if they have Lotto. Okay, yes, they do have Lotto. Or you can also check Monsterrat. Yeah, they only have Lotto. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it Lotto. I'm gonna make it extra bold, and once I've done that, I'm gonna increase the size. And look at that, already looks like, your genuine website. And I'm gonna go in text again. I'm gonna make a text box right under this, and over here I'm gonna write iPhone 7. And once I've written that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase this size to, let's keep a good size for this. Okay, make it that. And like, please do check if you can make it bigger, because obviously this is like our main brand, so we're gonna want to make it big. So this is a bit too big, so I'm gonna change it down to 200. Okay, 180 and 160. Let's tune it down, and there we go. So I think that looks pretty decent. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make sure the text is done and selected. And once I have done that, what I'm gonna do is that, and then I'm gonna choose this text over here, bring it down here, and yeah. So once you've done that, you can also like give your text different effects, like go over it, go on effects, and then you can give it some, nice drop shadow. So I'm gonna add a bit of a blur. And once I've added blur, I'm gonna like give it a good drop shadow like this. You can remove the blur totally if you want to, but yeah, you get the point. You can also give your picture an effect, by the way. Again, go on your picture, and then look at this. You can give your picture a drop shadow. So if we were to do this, look at that. How cool of a feature is that, And you can also like mess around with the settings of your picture. So, mess around with the exposure if you want to, the contrast. And once you've done that, just click on back and look at that. Again, we're going to go to the iPhone 7. We're going to give it some good features. So I'm going to like have it right here. Bring this a bit over here. I'm going to remove the blur. So brand new product, just hit the store, iPhone 7. And I'm also gonna add like a good stroke to this. So make sure to like choose a good color. And once you've chosen a good color, what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose the amount of stroke that you want to add to this over here. So I'm gonna delete that. It's added a stroke to the wrong thing. I'm gonna undo the stroke. Go on this. Okay, yeah. Now we're gonna add our stroke. So again, as I said, you're gonna go in the iPhone 7 text, and once we're over here, you're gonna go on stroke. Okay, choose a good color for the stroke. Okay, let's go with a light red vibe. Once you do that, you're gonna like make it a bit bigger, and yeah. And once you are done with all of this, it's come together pretty good, come together pretty well. Now, what we're gonna do is we're also gonna be using the masking and blending modes more. So we'll be using the masking and blending modes in the content section to create some unique effects and add visual interest. So again, to like use the masking and blending modes, you can, again, as I showed you, the blending modes, there's like the filling and stroking going on, the drop shadows, those are your masking and blendings. And then obviously you can like add different images. Let's go with an ellipse. I'm gonna go with a sphere, and I'm gonna bring it over here. Be sure to crop it out. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this, just like that. And once I've done that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here, make sure like it's set as I want it to be. I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna mess around with its opacity. I'm gonna make it 50%. And what you can do is you can choose it as a pass-through or whatever you want. I'm gonna choose it as a full white, go on effects, choose it as a background blur, and then just increase the amount of blur I want on it. And again, you can remove that or like choose it as a layer blur as well. Because if you choose it as a layer blur, as you can see, it gives your picture a pretty fun flare like that. You can also change the color if you want to. So as you can tell, you can use the flares just like these, and it's just about choosing the best color for your flare. In my opinion, like to give it, that nice shine, I think the white color just works best. So yeah, that is how you're going to be using, your masking and blending in the content section. Now, what you can also do is you can use gradients as well. So gradients are a great way to add depth and dimension to your design. So I'm going to be showing them as well. It's not a necessity to use them because your website is already going to have a good structure, but you can use them because basically you can get various elements throughout your website to add some color and visual interests using gradients. So how does one use gradients? What you're going to do is, let's say I'm going to write rectangle. Okay, I'm going to like add this rectangle over here. And once you do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like double click on the photo if you want to. And once you double click on the photo, like to add yourself a good color, what you're going to do is you're going to come on it. You're going to like right click it. And once you like right click it, what you're going to do is you're going to choose the color section. So once you like obviously choose the color section, everything, I'm going to go here. So where are the colors? Here are the colors basically. Like make sure to choose some color for this if you want to. And then what you're going to do is you're going to find, it's not showing the flattened section, but it basically shows you an option to basically mess around with its gradient. So if I were to come here, okay, obviously this is the whole masking setting that I was showing you. You can use this to mask if you want to. And here we go. I'm pretty sure, yes, this is the gradient. So basically you can use this whole gradient thing to, add different colors to your design, let's say. You can, make your design look much more fun. You can change the aspect of the whole design by adding gradients if you want to. But yeah, you get the point. I personally don't use them, but you can go ahead and use them if you want to. So once you're done with all of that, what you're going to do is you're going to build the footer. So the footer is often overlooked, but it is an important and great part of your website. It's where you will include your contact information and other important details. So I'm going to be using various elements such as text and icons to create my footer. So to create my footer, what I'm going to do is we're obviously going to be like taking the third section a bit up. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to click on done. I'm going to delete that. Now, I'm going to take the third section a bit to the upper side, and once we're over here, this is where we're going to create our footer. So I'm going to go on section. I'm going to add a footer section right here. Here we are. We added a footer section. Again, like choose the colors that if you want to, totally dependent on you. So I'm going to show you what constitutes a good footer section. So this is a footer section. As you can see, you have your terms and services, contact policies, privacy policy. You have different icons made by this, you know, stuff like that. You get the point. So first of all, I'm going to first, you know, write like stuff like, you know, socials. You can write that. Wait, let me just mess around with the font a bit. It's a bit too big. So choose the font. Over here, I'm going to tune it down to that. Go on this. I'm going to bring it over here. Socials. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come here. You're going to write website footer social PNG. You're going to write that. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you like a whole good PNG of the footer, you know, socials and logos that you want to get for. And okay, so what you can do is you're just going to come here. You're going to write socials. And once you write socials, look at that. You're going to get all these things, and it looks pretty cool. You can choose any one of these if you want to, or you can like choose them separately. I'm going to choose this one. This one looks pretty dope. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to click on download PNG for free. Like you can use these websites and the web as your helper, because obviously like the web is good. Come on. So you're going to use that to basically help yourself. So here we are, it's downloaded. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring it here, paste it over here, make it a tad bit smaller. Again, we're going to make sure it fits in. And once you're making sure it fits in, what you're going to do is first of all, let's go and like choose the color. I'm going to do that. And there we go. And from there on out, just add it over here next to your socials. And once you've done that, obviously you're going to add the contact info and everything down there, you know, just to like complete your footer, because that's what constitutes a good footer. And once you have created your footer, finally, we'll be designing a form to collect information from our visitors. So we'll be using various form elements such as text fields and buttons to create our form. Now, to obviously, as I said, create a form, you're going to do the same thing. Again, go on a text box. You're going to write something like, you know, contact us. And I'm going to choose that. I'm going to bring that down here. And then obviously we're going to create a section. You can either use a rectangle or, you know, something like that. So I'm going to write a rectangle like this. And then what you can do is like you can go with the whole design aspect. And once you go over there, you can turn down the opacity if you want to. And yeah, there the person is going to write something to you if they want to. And you can like use the button aspects to it as well by going on the components. You can like search the libraries by going on the libraries and stuff like that. You can mess with the updates. But yeah, that is basically how you're going to, you know, make your footer, make your content page, and make your header. So yeah, that is basically all there is for this video, all when it comes to, you know, editing your page looking like Figma. And yeah, there you have it, a complete website designed using Figma web design. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and informative. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials like this. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.